Urouge, also known as the Mad Monk, is a mysterious character who quickly made his presence felt in the story. He shares a nickname with Rasputin, a Russian mystic who served as an advisor to the Romanovs and had a significant influence on Nicholas II of Russia. Urouge's enigmatic persona leaves a lasting impression, much like the renowned historical figure. There have been widespread rumors surrounding Rasputin, claiming that he was an insane, diabolical monk capable of conjuring monsters and various other supernatural phenomena. However, his current association with the pirate Urouge is relatively insignificant. What's truly intriguing is that instead of being addressed as captain, Urouge's crew refers to him as Sojo. So, what exactly does Sojo mean? Well, it refers to a class of monks within Japanese Buddhism ranking system called Sokan, which consists of 3 levels collectively known as Sogo. The initial degree, Sojo, encompasses the Daishojo, Sojo, and Gon-Sojo levels. Sojo is a title for high priests or monks. It is a significant monastic title. Then, there is the second degree, the Sozu, which has 4 levels, Daisozu, Gon-Daisozu, Shosozu, and Gon-Shosozu. The Sozu is a priest, but not a high priest, occupying a lower rank. The third degree is the Rishi, with its levels being Dai-Rishi, Chu-Rishi, and Gon-Rishi. Rishi signifies a priest with an even lower charge. Therefore, Urouge, as a Sojo, holds an almost highest rank within the monastic hierarchy. Apart from being a monk, the intriguing aspect is the name of his crew. His pirates are known as the Pirates of the Sinner Monk, or the Heretic Monk. This term, sinner or heretic, grammatically signifies someone who has transgressed the precepts of Buddhism, thereby becoming a heretic or unbeliever. Urouge's high rank as a Sojo contrasts with the rebellious, transgressive nature implied by his crew's name, creating a unique and complex character dynamic that blends religious authority with defiance. Already at this point, the narrative starts to pique our interest. We have a member of the Sky People, potentially connected to the Lunarians, that practices Buddhism but branded as a sinner, a heretic. This branding likely stems from his transgression of the principles of his faith, creating a fascinating juxtaposition between his celestial origins and his fall from spiritual grace. If we look at Urouge's Vivre card, the official character data book, it mentions that the Mad Monk is a pirate from the Sky Islands. The note states, "It is a rather unusual fact that they practice piracy in the Blue Sea," clearly referring to pirates from the Sky Islands, where interactions are scarce. This raises the question, does Urouge have a specific purpose? So, it subtly suggests that Urouge came down to Earth for a specific reason, driven by a particular purpose. Another clear reference to Buddhism by Urouge is his bounty of 108 million of belly. The number 108 is considered sacred in many religions, including Hinduism and Buddhism, among others. This sacred number's significance adds another layer of depth to his character. 108 is the number of beads in the mala, the Indian, Tibetan, and Buddhist rosary, which resembles the necklace that Urouge wears around his neck. His necklace obviously does not have 108 beads. I don't think Oda aimed to formalize the numbers in this case. Hindu deities have 108 names, so reciting these names while counting the 108 beads of the mala is considered sacred and is often repeated during religious ceremonies. This sacred significance further enriches Urouge's character. 108 is the number of sins in Tibetan Buddhism. It is also the number of stars considered sacred in Chinese astrology. In Japan, at the end of the year, a bell is rung 108 times to greet the new year. This number's recurring sacredness across various cultures adds depth to Urouge's enigmatic character. There are 108 lines of energy that converge to form the heart chakra. The diameter of the sun is 108 times that of the earth, and the distance between the earth and the sun is 108 times the diameter of the sun. This recurring sacred number appears in various contexts. We do not know what prompted Urouge to descend from an island in the sky to the Blue Sea. However, another item in the Vivre card shows Urouge as a child, with a note that reads, "As a child, Urouge had the same haircut as the inhabitants of Skypia, and I would also add the same wings to it. He also possessed a mineral that did not originally exist in the Celestial Islands, a precious glimpse that explores the mystery of Urouge. This detail not only ties him to Skypia, but also hints at a broader narrative involving his origins and the unique elements he brought with him." We are being told to note that Urouge had hair like the people of Skypia, and I repeat, also the wings. However, the wings he's wearing now are those of the people of Birka, not Skypia. So what could have happened? Did he run away from Skypia? Did he go into hiding? Did he move to Birka, perhaps around the time Enel destroyed the island and then descended to the Blue Sea? Who can tell? The fact that he shaved his head, removing the hair antennae that the people of Skypiea wear, might suggest that he is hiding. He might have wanted to conceal his identity, even going so far as to change his wings. This act of transformation and concealment adds another layer of mystery to his character, leaving us to wonder about his true origins and motives. Let me emphasize again, the wings that the Sky people wear are fake. They are not real wings. They are not functional wings for flying. They are likely worn to recall the ancient gods. What makes me say this? Besides the fact that Urouge has changed his wings, and the incident where Wiper burns one during his fight against Eneru, only to have wings again later in the cover stories, there is a crucial detail in Databook Yellow. The databook explicitly states that the wings are ornaments. I understand that one item in a databook might seem insufficient as evidence, but there are several supporting observations. The fact that they wear wings over their clothes, that Urouge changed his wings and Oda never corrected it, that Wiper lost one wing and then inexplicably regained it, that Ganfall, the former god of Skypiea, did not wear wings, that Eneru did not have wings, and that the former god of Skypiea in Noland and Kalgara's flashbacks did not wear wings. All these points support the idea presented in Databook Yellow. These cumulative details strongly suggest that the wings are indeed ornamental, worn to symbolize their connection to the ancient gods rather than serving any practical purpose. So, at some indefinite time, the mad monk Urouge descends into the blue sea and becomes a pirate. From here, our information clearly ends. We then meet him again at Sabaody, where he recognizes the celestial dragons, talks about them, and gives the obvious impression that he knows who these characters are. He knows exactly what to do once he faces them. In fact, he bows down and tells his companions to be good, kneel down, and not make a fuss. All the combat we see at Sabaody against the Pacifista shows us just how strong Urouge is. His power seems to come from a devil fruit and is reminiscent of the Bide attack in Pokemon. The more damage he takes, the stronger he becomes. Truly badass. The fact that he is the supernova with the lowest bounty always made me think he actually has the biggest attributes. He carries around this huge pillar, which in my opinion is a very obvious simulacrum of his manhood. This combination of strength and symbolism makes Urouge a particularly intriguing and formidable character. I really like him. However, aside from jokes about manhood and towering steel monuments, the truly intriguing part awaits us. In the later events at Marineford, we witness the supernovas sharing their thoughts on the war's outcome. Amidst these numerous speeches, Urouge stands out with his signature smile, exuding an aura of an alternate reality's Nika. He states that Blackbeard is the key. His crew and he shall continue to be the epicenter of the storm for a considerable period of time. I believe this declaration may signify their intentions. We know that Urouge has a purpose. He came down to Earth from the islands in the sky for a reason. There is a mystery. There is something he wants to do, he wants to achieve. And after seeing the Marineford War, he says Blackbeard is the key. It's a strange concept, it's a very hermetic concept, don't you think? But to call someone a key means that it is something important to open, to unlock, to get at something. What could the hypothesis made about Teach being a true descendant of Joy Boy have to do with it? About that theory, I talk about it here. That said, we see him again in the New World and see him arrive at the island of Raijin, where there is the old woman who places the umbrella for him. But nothing important happens for the character here. He then single-handedly defeats one of Big Mom's 4 Sweet Commanders. Let me remind you that Luffy had to spend an entire night eating crackers cookie soldiers, and then Nami had to help him with her rain for him to finally defeat the Sweet Commander. Then, the fight with Katakuri is wonderful, and while Luffy performed admirably, Katakuri essentially let him win in the end. So yes, Luffy did well, but there's an asterisk there. Meanwhile, Urouge defeated Snack by himself. And this victory was significant enough that Snack was stripped of his title as a Sweet Commander after losing. However, with the arrival of Cracker, Urouge escaped from Whole Cake Island, and we do not know why he went there in the first place. He managed to reach a celestial island, Balloon Terminal, where we see a sea of balloons resting at the bottom of the island, floating in the skies of the New World. These balloons, if you remember, were once used as transportation by the automata, the little robots that served the gods, to travel to the moon. This connection between the balloons and the automata adds another layer of intrigue to Urouge's journey and the mysterious Balloon Terminal. There's much more to discuss about Balloon Terminal, but I'll save that for another time because there's a lot to cover. However, when Urouge encounters Kaido on the island, he finds him on the brink of launching himself below in an attempt to end his life. The outcome of their encounter is already known, yet What is truly remarkable and astonishing is that Urouge remains completely unfazed by the sight of the Emperor. Furthermore, he bestows a blessing upon him, a blessing conveyed through the word Namu. A term originating from the Sanskrit language, Naman signifies devotion and honor. It represents a mindset of embracing and accepting the laws of the universe, synchronizing one's life with them, and deriving strength and wisdom to conquer obstacles. Essentially, Urouge bestowed a blessing upon Kaido, telling him, "Follow your own path and honor your chosen way of life." In fact, he even declared, "If it is truly his desire, I will not stand in his way." I have this persistent feeling that Urouge might have managed to persuade him to change his course of action. I can't explain how or why, but the sheer charisma of this character is truly astounding. Consequently, Urouge blesses Kaido, and he makes the leap. Astonishingly, Kaido not only survives but emerges unscathed. I want to believe that his survival can be attributed solely to the blessing bestowed by Urouge. However, that's solely my perspective, which remains confined to my own crazy imagination. That being said, Urouge remains largely shrouded in mystery. His elusive nature and ethereal qualities indicate that Oda is reserving something significant. From his being a winged being associated with the sky, to his perception of Blackbeard as a crucial figure, to his descent from the heavens for a specific purpose as mentioned in the Vivre card. Everything suggests that Urouge is a character who will greatly impact the story once Oda unveils him. Furthermore, his transformation in physical appearance, such as shaving his head, discarding his distinct Scipia hairstyle, and altering his wings, alongside his carrying of a large black pillar, all hint at a complex personality. As Urouge is connected to Buddhism, a prominent religion in Japan, and the symbolic number 108, there is a sense of depth to his character. Notably, while he is a monk, he carries a sense of guilt or sin. All these intriguing aspects serve to introduce us to Urouge, and I can only anticipate that Oda has greater plans for this captivating character. As for the comments below, I can only hope for unwavering adoration for Urouge, as I have merely presented a list of circumstances and facets that Oda has entrusted to us. These fragments can be compared to scattered crumbs from a colossal loaf of bread. As of now, we cannot find a way to piece them together harmoniously. However, I am confident that at the end, it will be a truly delectable experience. You guys have my utmost respect, but I am now at a loss for words. So, all I can say is be good and enjoy yourselves. Goodbye.